Yesterday was a jam-packed day with surprise announcements, and the biggest of them all naming Ohio Senator J.D. Vance as Trump's running mate. Even former President Donald Trump making his first public appearance since that assassination attempt.
Yeah, and tonight more big-named politicians from Ohio are taking center stage at the convention. Senate candidate Bernie Moreno and former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Moreno speaking in just a few moments now.
Yeah, and we are just getting started. A reminder that this is only day 2 of the RNC. While former President Donald Trump made an appearance yesterday, he, along with his running mate J.D. Vance, have not yet spoken.
And WLWT News 5 anchor Mike Dardis is at the RNC in Milwaukee. He's taking a closer look at how everything is now unfolding. Mike.
Hi, Chris. Hey, Ashley. You know, plenty of passion in politics these days and plenty of storylines on both sides of the aisle. For example, will President Biden actually be the Democratic nominee? So many people in his own party now want him to step aside. And on the Republican side, will J.D. Vance add enough of a punch to give former President Trump enough momentum to get back into the White House and over the top? Speaking of J.D. Vance, he's going to take this very stage tomorrow night. Kari Lake, by the way, Senate candidate in Arizona, is out there right now. But for plenty of perspective on J.D. Vance and that big speech tomorrow, I spoke with NBC political analyst Kristen Welker, also host of Meet the Press. Kristen, big decision yesterday by the Republican Party and Donald Trump going with Ohio U.S. Senator J.D. Vance as the VP nominee. Of course, in Ohio, we focused on that for a long time, but I talked with a lot of delegates from all across America today, and I'd say 90 or 95% say it was a surprise that he wasn't on the radar. Your take on the choice?
Well, Senator J.D. Vance is a sign that former President Donald Trump is focused on passing the MAGA torch and building it out for the future. 39 years old, he served as a U.S. Senator for 2 years. A lot of people are just going to start to get to know him. He was one of former President Trump's fiercest critics, turned ally, now one of his fiercest defenders. The question is, will he help electorally? It's not clear that he will yet. Now, some would argue, look, he does help actually court voters in states like Wisconsin and throughout the Midwest. But the question is, will he be able to expand the tent at all? That remains to be seen. But again, this is a choice that Donald Trump made to some extent from a position of strength. Looking at the polls, he is leading in the polls narrowly. And so this is his way of saying that he wants to focus on building out his MAGA ideology in the future.
So many storylines, obviously, here at the RNC, but also on the Democratic side. The night of the debate, we were watching, of course, from our newsroom. You came right out of the gates and you said your sources all across the Democratic Party were concerned. They said maybe this is over, maybe they should think about replacement. Do you think, from talking to folks around the party, that he will make it to the finish line?
I think that it is still a question to some extent. President Biden is defiant. He says he is in this till the very end, but there's still a debate within the Democratic Party now. The debate has to some extent stalled in the wake of the assassination attempt against former President Trump, this somber backdrop to our politics right now. The question is, after this week, will the debate over whether to replace President Biden continue? Will it heat up, or will it continue to stay stalled? That's what I'll be watching for.
And final thing for you, obviously you've been in the business a long time, so have I. We know that we're journalists and we're down the middle. Fair or not, people view different networks in different ways. We know Fox, they look at the right. NBC, they feel we lean a little bit to the left. We used to get heat in the NBC circles from the right, and now it's even coming from the left. I'm wondering, is it tougher and tougher to do your job every day in that show that you do, and how do you handle it?
I think being a journalist is always a really tough job, but I am always guided by the principle of wanting to get accurate information to our viewers and to voters, quite frankly, who are watching. The driving principle of our show is to make sure that we're not just doing a show for the headlines, but for the history books. We have to hold elected officials, people who are seeking higher office, to account with every single broadcast. We have to enhance the public's information and, quite frankly, tune out the noise so that we can do our jobs.
NBC News political analyst Kristen Welker there. Enjoyed speaking with her. Of course, the host now of Meet the Press. You guys mentioned some big Ohio speakers tonight. In just a short time, it'll be Bernie Moreno, who's obviously up for that U.S. Senate seat, going up against Sherrod Brown, who's been in that seat for a while. And then Vivek Ramaswamy from Cincinnati, St. X High School, a fast-rising Republican star. We'll be watching. We'll be with you live again tonight at 11 here on WLWT News 5. For now, Mike Dardis live from the floor of the RNC. Guys?